BlinkLab is a digital healthcare company that uses smartphones, computer vision, AI, and machine learning to create a platform for diagnosing neurodevelopmental conditions like autism, ADHD, and schizophrenia. Their most advanced product is an autism diagnostic test for children as young as 18 months old. This test is considered much better than traditional methods, which usually diagnose around 5 years old and often miss the crucial early intervention period. Joining me ahead of appearing at Australian Equities Day in Singapore is BlinkLab Non-Executive Chairman Brian Leedman. Brian, welcome to the Stock Network.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
Now, looking closer at your autism diagnostic test, where is the technology at now in terms of development, and what are your near-term priorities?
So the technology was actually being developed in development for about 4 years. And it was actually developed at Princeton University, and it's had over 6,000 patients enrolled in learning studies. So that's like a machine learning algorithm, Leedman out validation, to get the algorithm as good as we can do in terms of taking it to a prospective test. And we've already done a prospective study in Morocco with about 280 patients. And that produced sensitivity, specificity scores of 85 and 84% respectively, in being able to diagnose autism in people simply by using their smartphone. So that is where the product is developed to date. The next stage is for us to take it into prospective regulatory studies, and that'll be in the FDA in the United States and also in Europe and Australia. So that's why we did the IPO earlier this year, to raise the funds so that we could do a prospective regulatory study for regulatory approval in those key commercial markets.
And Brian, looking more at the technology, can you tell me more about it, really how it works, and also the potential commercial outcomes?
So the technology is actually using a smartphone that an individual is looking at the smartphone and it's playing an animation, something to focus the person's attention. And then it invokes a bunch of visual and audio stimuli that makes the face respond in a certain way. And people with autism or ADHD particularly have a facial reflex that is a response to that stimuli that is captured on the smartphone. And then the smartphone uses artificial intelligence, machine learning, that will then be able to diagnose those conditions in an individual simply by looking at their smartphone. And this technology was developed at Princeton University. It's been well tested, and we can diagnose people with autism or ADHD at an age, say, of 1.5 to 2 years old. And we know that early intervention results from early diagnosis. And that's how you get the best outcome for a patient. So that's a clear reason for the company to exist. It's a very disruptive technology, and I can see this technology being used, once regulatory approved, in the medical community in order to diagnose people with autism or ADHD, or potentially a whole range of other neurological disorders, at a much younger age than they're presently diagnosed, so that you can then bring an intervention and get better outcomes for not only the patient but also for their caregivers.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for the update on BlinkLab, and look forward to seeing you at Australian Equities Day in Singapore.
And I'm looking forward to it very much.